Hi Prof, we are Group 6 from Section G4, and our presentation today will be on Mimley Private Limited. In our group, we have Claire, George, Kevin, Sean, and myself. Starting off with an overview of the company, for the purposes of this project, we'll be looking at an arbitrary business, Mimley Private Limited. Mimley is a family-owned restaurant business in the F&B industry in Singapore and was established in 2015. Looking at the company structure, in its initial establishment in 2015, Mimley started off with its first store, Shop B, in the heartlands of Bedok, on a 10-year lease ending in 2025. It managed to gain popularity in the community as a result of their high-quality ingredients and relatively affordable price. Shop B has been profitable till date. Additionally, due to the traction Mimley Private Limited managed to achieve, along with the demand for their customers, they decided in the same year, 2015, to open a second store, Shop A, in the CBD on a 5-year lease ending in 2020 to capture the working adults. Each shop has a single cook, 1 store manager, 2 cashiers, and 3 waiters to facilitate operations. Looking at their main activities used to carry out their business, the main and only driver for Mimley are their food sales. They offer a single product which is a set meal of rice, chicken, pork, and broccoli. The selling price of each set is $8. Mimley also started offering their delicious sets on popular delivery apps in 2018 to increase their customer outreach. As of today, their pre-COVID delivery and takeout orders make up about 30% of their total annual sales, with the remaining 70% being eat-in customers. Next, let's take a look at the income statement in the contribution margin format. As mentioned earlier, the only driver for Mimley are their food sales. Therefore, the revenue is derived from the number of sets sold multiplied by the price of each set. The company's total revenue for the financial year totaled up to $1,144,000. Their variable expenses consist of the cost of rice, chicken, pork, broccoli, takeaway boxes, salaries of waiters and cashiers. The variable expenses for this financial year total up to $706,745. Their fixed expenses comprise of chef salaries, cutleries, store manager's salary, depreciation of kitchen equipment, rental cost, marketing expenses, and general admin. All in all, profit for this financial year total up to $26,745. There were some assumptions that we had to make to arrive at this figure. These assumptions include that each product consists of 1 set of chicken, pork, and broccoli. The set price of each set was $8. Shop A sold 78,000 sets while Shop B sold 65,000 sets. 30% of sales were takeaway. The cost of rice per set was 20 cents. The cost of chicken per set was 50 cents. The cost of pork per set was 60 cents. And the cost of takeaway box per set was 5 cents. There are 3 waiters per shop, 2 cashiers per shop. Their DLH is 8 hours per day for 350 days per year. The hourly salary was $7 per hour. There's 1 cook per shop who earned $50,000 per year. 1 store manager per shop who earned $60,000 per year. The rental of Shop A is larger than Shop B, as Shop A is in the CBD and Shop B is in the heartland. Shop A's lease expires in the financial year 2020, and Shop B's lease expires at the end of the financial year 2025. Now Kevin will take you through the first approach.
Okay, now I'll be talking more about some of the management accounting concepts that Mimley can apply in order to tackle the economic problems from COVID-19. Our first suggestion is that Mimley needs to reduce their leases, specifically Store A. Because Store A is located in the CBD and thus being far away from residential areas, we forecasted that they will have a decrease in sales as most people are now working from home during the pandemic, and delivery costs are to be more expensive because of this additional distance. As we can see from the forecasted income statement, Store A is currently making a loss due to the insufficient CM to cover for their expensive rental cost. And by closing down the store completely, Mimley is able to reduce its overall losses. And because its rental lease is coming to an end, it is best to use this opportunity to not extend its lease in Store A. So what can we take from the closing of Store A? Well, if we take a look at how much CM is missed and how much money is saved from not operating, we would have a total advantage of $48,000. This is taking into account our 3 assumptions made, that now 100% of Mimley sales are from takeaway, Mimley are now transitioning into online sales via delivery, and that third-party delivery agency fees are fully paid by the customers, with relevant costs as our main concept for this suggestion. And so to conclude, now that Mimley Store A's lease is coming to an end, we advise Mimley to not further extend their lease. This will lead to an overall increase in profit of $48,000. We also take depreciation and general admin costs as allocated cost and will not be part of the savings. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. So as mentioned previously, Mimli will be focusing on one shop solely, which is shop B. So our group's focus is to maximize the contribution margin from store B in order to decrease break-even sales, and hence an increase in margin of safety. So in order to do so, we're retrenching the waiters and reducing the salaries of the cashiers from $7 per hour to $6 per hour. So we are doing so because during COVID-19, Mimli Shop B has remained closed due to the lack of customers and government regulations. The main bulk of the forecasted sales will be coming from online delivery orders, and hence waiters are temporarily rendered unnecessary. This has caused our contribution margin to increase from 343,000 to 407,000, and increasing our forecasted net profit by more than double to 39,400. Furthermore, we broke down the break-even sales required based on the original contribution margin and new contribution margin. As seen in the advantage analysis above, this cut in variable expense has led to a decrease in break-even sales by 94,974, and hence a corresponding increase in margin of safety. Now, this is very important to Mimli, especially in a time of uncertainty due to the virus. There might be various lockdown measures or even a second wave of infections that could adversely affect Mimli's business, leading to a sharp drop in sales. Therefore, it is important that there has to be a higher margin of safety to give Mimli a safety net in the event that there are sudden fluctuations in sales, and increase the probability of Mimli breaking even. So now I'll be passing my time on to George to discuss further on the adjustment Mimli has to make during this period.
Thank you, Sean. Now I'll be telling you about our third approach. Our third approach is increasing the budgeted takeout boxes. This is the premise. Now, 100% of our sales are now takeaway orders. Mimli has to access the amount of takeout boxes required for the year 2020 to meet the increase in demand for takeout orders, or face the issue of not being able to carry out their operations, incurring loss of profits. The concept that we are applying here is budgeting. Before we begin on our analysis, let's look at some key assumptions. Firstly, the cost of each takeout box is constant. This means no discounts for more orders. The forecasted sales for each month will be taken as 1 out of 12 of the annual forecasted sales for simplicity. Next, since the yearly sales during COVID was 70,000, now the monthly sales will be 70,000 divided by 12, which is 5,834. The monthly sales sold in 2020 without COVID would be 70,000 multiplied by 0.3 divided by 12, which gives us 1,750. The monthly sets sold in 2019 was 65,000 multiplied by 0.3 divided by 12, which is 1,625. Mimli also maintains a 50% stock in inventory from the previous period, and the forecasted sales in January 2021 will be taken as the same for December 2020. Let's look at the two Excels below. Let me run through how we derived these numbers. For budgeted production, this is the budgeted production for the month of December 2019. As you can see, the materials needed to produce each unit is one takeout box, and the desired ending inventory, 875, comes from 50% of the number 1,750. Therefore, the total needed for December 2019 for the purchase budget without COVID is 2,500. Minus the beginning inventory, that would be 812.5. And for the budgeted DM to be purchased, it will be 1,687 and 50 cents. Taking into account that each piece costs about 5 cents, this would be $84.375, $84.37. Next, when we extrapolated this data, taking into account that each production for each month was 1,750, we arrived at the following numbers. So without COVID, we see that the budgeted DM purchase for December 2019 was around $84, and followed by $87.5 all the way. However, we see that with the change into COVID, the budgeted DM went up. The budgeted DM to be purchased went up, and this was due to the increase into 100% of takeaway orders. So as you can see, we're just going to look at the last line over here, and we see that the budgeted DM purchased at 5 cents per piece became 186 and 292, which carried on all the way to December. Advantage analysis. As you can see, this Excel sheet shows the differences between the two budgets. For the month of December 2019, we see that the difference in DM to be purchased resulted in the difference in DM to be purchased was about 2,042. Yeah, 2,042. And the cost difference due to the DM purchase was about $102. And the difference in revenue from selling the finished products that this DM was used to produce was about 16,333. Therefore, the net loss due to underproduction for December 2019 was about 16,231. When we extrapolated this data, we see that for January all the way to December 2020, the net loss due to the underproduction was 32,463. Therefore, the conclusion is that during this COVID 2019 pandemic, since all sales are takeout, there's a need to do rebudgeting of the boxes. Without this increase, there will be a bottleneck of revenue with regards to the number of boxes available. If Mimdi does not rebudget its takeaway boxes, box purchase budget, it will result in a monthly loss of 32,463. Next, I'll be passing on my time to Claire to talk about Mimdi's balanced scorecard.
Thank you, George. After listening to the three-pronged approach that Mimli took to tackle the economic hit of COVID-19, let me bring us through what we believe would be an appropriate balanced scorecard to measure Mimli's performance. We will be discussing the balanced scorecard in terms of non-financial objectives and financial objectives, which are as follows: learning and growth, internal business processes, customer satisfaction, and financial performance. First, we have 4 key objectives measured with different KPI under learning and growth. And under this component, we will be focusing on measuring the capability of carrying out Mimli's key operating processes. The first objective, to increase a collaborative environment, could be achieved via employee engagement training workshops, which we will use the employee engagement survey as the KPI. We will set a reasonable target of 8 out of 10 rating. Moving on, the following objectives are in relation to soft skills such as the communication skills and hard skills such as cooking and IT competencies of the employees. We believe that the number of training attended will be a suitable KPI to measure this objective with a target of 100% attendance. In order to make these objectives achievable, employees should enroll in government subsidized skills future courses. Moving on to the internal business processes perspective, we want to create objectives that can help measure the execution of customer value-adding processes. We transition to an online delivery service-focused company. We believe that a critical objective is to digitalize ordering and payment processes in line with SME Go Digital program. To measure the performance, we would be monitoring the number of stores with such service, and we aim to hit a target of all stores being digitally equipped. Furthermore, with the stringent hygiene regulations due to COVID-19, we believe that high level of cleanliness should be a key objective. The KPI would be SG Clean certifications given out by the government for compliant food stores, and we aim to have all stores to achieve this cert. We will enable the objective to be easier met by facilitating cleanliness workshop for employees. Apart from COVID-19 related objectives tied to the internal business processes, we believe that food wastage is a common issue faced by F&Bs like Mimli. Hence, the objective to eliminate food wastage is important, and we will be initiating proper food storage processes and accuracy in budgeting for raw material procurement to reduce wastage. At the end of the day, we hope to reduce food wastage by 20%. Following, we have automation as an objective to complement the transition online and will also allow us to achieve the next objective of reduced food preparation time. We will measure these 2 objectives with the percentage of processes automated and the time taken to prepare a typical Mimli set meal. We suggest to facilitate these objectives by equipping all Mimli stores with machines. Hopefully, we want to ensure 100% automation and a reduction of meal prep time by 5 minutes. Now we move on to the last non-financial objective, which is customer satisfaction. As we are utilizing a third-party delivery platform, we hope to reduce the number of complaints and measure it via access to customer ratings. We hope to see a 70% reduction in the low threat rating of 1 to 2 stars out of 5 by improving cooking skills, food preparation time, and accuracy in ordering via the previous objectives we highlighted. Apart from reducing complaints, we want to see an increase in customer satisfaction, which can be measured via satisfaction rating. We believe that customers are sufficiently satisfied with Mimli services when they achieve an average of 8 out of 10 rating. We will recommend initiatives such as hiring a customer service relation manager to maintain good relationships with the customer or to send the employees to customer service trainings. Lastly, we have the financial objectives to measure the financial performance of Mimli. We propose 3 objectives, which is to increase market share, profits, and contribution margin. We will use 3 different KPIs, which are total sales, profit margin, and variable expense, and we hope to see a target of 10% increase in both market share and profit margins and a 25% dip in variable expenses. We believe that Mimli, by transitioning online, can help them capture more of the demand and hence increase market share. And the increasing profits and contribution margin could be achieved by cutting expenses on disposable utensils, either human resources, and replacing old kitchen equipment to gas-efficient ones. Before I conclude our presentation, this is the overall balance scorecard drafted for Mimli. In summary, the family-owned F&B business, Mimli, took the approach to transition online away from eat-in and take-out services due to COVID-19 regulations implemented in Singapore. COVID-19 affected Mimli significantly in terms of eat-in sales, and under this approach of reducing leases, number of waiters, labour costs, and increase in budgeted take-out boxes for delivery services would help Mimli tackle this economic challenge posed by the global pandemic. We have now come to the end of our presentation. Thank you very much.